You're listening to episode number 72.
Welcome to the Inner Singer Podcast, providing tools and techniques to strengthen your inner singer, your beliefs, your confidence, your mindset. And now, your host for the Inner Singer Podcast, Mike Goodrich.
Well, hey there, everybody. This is Mike Goodrich here with the Inner Singer Podcast, episode number 72. And today, well, I hope you're well, by the way. I hope all is going well for you in this crazy time here in our world. I don't know when you'll be listening to this, but if you're listening to it anywhere near May or June of 19, probably not, May or June of 2020, then you will certainly appreciate what's going on. It's a crazy time, but I hope through all of it, you guys are all able to be singing and enjoying yourselves in any way that you can. So, with that said, let's get on to episode number 72 and talk about today something that I never hear talked about anywhere anymore by anybody. Maybe that's just me, but it's what I always referred to and thought about as the vocal line, L-I-N-E, the vocal line. And back when I was a young singer training for my many, many, many years of doing that, I remember that was a real important thing. And there really are two kinds of vocal lines. I'm going to move, my chair is going to squeak. And the first one we're not going to go into as much today, but that is the registers being in line. You know, the chest, the middle or mix, the head voice, everything in a smooth, easy line, sort of like the automatic transmission in a car, where you just push on the gas and everything goes. It's a nice, easy line. The second line that we're going to talk about today is the one that has to do with vowels and sounds. And since all sounds are not made equal, in other words, they're not all vowels, we'll refer to them both, vowels and sounds. The vowels, of course, in English being A, E, I, O, U, and different sounds like U, I, E, A, that aren't vowels, but are equally as important when it comes to singing. Now, in Spanish, A, E, I, O, U, I believe, A, E, I, O, U, and probably really close to that in Italian. French, I don't know. German, I don't know, but I know that I've taught in many, many, many different languages. And it's whatever vowels or sounds you make in whatever language you speak, this applies to that language. And I'll just give you an example with our sounds and our vowels in English. And, don't do this while you're driving, but if you want to practice this, I really suggest a mirror, a hand mirror, so you can really look at yourself, because you're going to want to get very, very used to not doing much with your mouth to either make the pitch or create the sound. Now, that doesn't mean that your mouth won't do something. For example, if I'm saying ooh, my mouth immediately goes into almost a little slight pucker of an ooh, right? But if I'm saying ah, or a, or e, or o, the o a tiny, tiny bit towards you, but the others didn't really do anything. A, e, o moves a little bit, right? I, not much. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get the vowel sounds in line and the sounds in line. And I'm going to give you a few tools in order to do that. And, a lot of this does not involve, right yet, singing high at all. It really just involves a new concept, a new coordination, really getting the idea of this. And the idea is that we will sing what I refer to as vertically rather than horizontally. Now, let me give you a couple of horizontal ideas for sounds. If I said an ah, A very horizontal ah would be ah. A very horizontal would be ah. A very horizontal a would be a. Now, let me just give you a vertical sound that's just really vertical by its nature. Let me say an ooh. Ooh. You can hear that that's a much more focused, don't like to use that word, but it's a feeling of that. And, singers tend to use that word a lot. I don't like to, but, it sort of describes a little bit more of a vertical, narrower feel. Ooh. Now let's take another sound that does that for you as well, and that's the like in foot or put or book. Oh, same thing, right? Same idea. So let me do those two together, a horizontal ah and a vertical so you really will hear the difference. And if you're looking at me, if this was a video podcast, you'd really see the difference as well. But you'll be able to see it in yourself, okay? But here first we have horizontal and then vertical. Ah, oh. Hear the difference? Ah, oh. As I'm looking at the wave form as I record this, you can see it in the waveform as well. It's a much fatter ah and a much narrower ooh. Now, how would I get that ah vertical instead of horizontal? Well, a good little tool is to start with whatever is vertical already, and then move without allowing it, move to the sound basically that then would ordinarily want to kind of go horizontal, without letting it go horizontal. So let me do the vertical first, the and then the ah, but let the ah go horizontal so you can hear what it sounds like. So we'll go vertical and horizontal now. So you go, ah, hear it fall out. My was vertical, my ah was horizontal. That's not a good vocal line, because if you're going from word to word and sound to sound, and you're going vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, 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 horizontal, vertical, horizontal, 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 vertical, that does not a good vocal line make, okay? That's just creates a lot of confusion for the singer, and it's not great for an audience either, because you have the sounds all over the place. If I'm singing the first line from The Rose and I go, some say love, it is a river. Now, I'm obviously exaggerating, but you hear I got a few vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, 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 horizontal. It's all over the place, right? So, but I'm a little bit jumping ahead of myself. But if I do it this way, let's say I keep it all vertical, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. And I say, some say love, it is a river. Okay, so everything's vertical. So now, how do we do that? Well, we start with a vertical, and then we go to what would want to be horizontal, but we keep it vertical. So now, let's go back to our ah. So if I say like foot, you'll notice if you say foot, your lips go a little bit towards like an oo. They pucker a little bit. Foot, foot. So if you say foot and go from foot to from the to the and you allow your lips and your mouth, just for now, you won't need this eventually, but for now it's a good little tool. And you allow your lips to stay in that position, and you go foot. You'll notice two things. Number one, you'll notice that your mouth doesn't splat wide open, and you'll notice, number two, that the the ah sound retains a little UH. It doesn't go all the way to an ah splat, okay? It doesn't fall out. And an ah will almost always have some quality of UH in it. You can think of an ah like a fraction of UH on the top and AH on the bottom. And the higher you go, the more UH you have. So if I'm up here and I say, it's got a lot of in it, right? You can hear the too. But I want you to do that, but I want you to use a mirror when you do it so you can make sure that you're maintaining your posture, okay? Now let me go and do the vertically, the vertically, and then hold it a little too long and then fall out and let the go horizontal. And you can hear that. Hear it? And it's like, and I'm doing that for, kind of exaggerating for effect, but you get the idea. So that is a great combination. Another great combination is E, A. So you'd say, and you'd keep the E set up for the A. And it's really important you look in the mirror because you don't want your mouth to move. Your tongue will move a little bit. You don't need your lips to move on this. Really practice that. If I let it fall out and I go vertical, horizontal, I go, A. And you can see it in the sound wave. It just jumps out very abruptly. And it looks like it sounds bad. So I go, It's like in that song from Les Mis, I Dreamed a Dream, when Fantine goes from the E flat to the B flat 4 in the middle of a bridge on the word shame. The good ones do not go shame. The good ones go shame. So they don't shame. They don't go fall out and go horizontal and then try and grab a vertical E diphthong to fix themselves. No, they're vertical all the way. So we've got the E, A. Now let's try the O. So you'll say ooh, and keep the oo lips when you go to the O. Ooh, not ooh, that's not an O, right? Ooh. Now, will you need to keep this mouth shape forever? No. It always goes that way a little bit on an oo, but I can say an oo with very little of my mouth. Let me not allow my mouth to do too much, and I'll say ooh, oh. Ooh. My mouth's not doing anything, and it's barely open. So you don't really need all of that movement in your mouth and lips for articulation that I'm overdoing right now, and you can hear it, okay? It's really distracting, number one, for an audience. It's too much tension for the singer. And what happens when we do that is we can't really tell if we're articulating or if we're using all of those compensatory muscles, all of that musculature to actually help us get the pitch. We don't really need it to say the words that much, as you can tell when you watch a good ventriloquist, Don't really need it that much. So now we've done ooh, o, e, a. Let's do a. And so I'll say like Ed, like cat. I go hear it fall out. That was vertical, horizontal. Now, let me keep that in the position without allowing my mouth to change when I shift sounds. Hear it? So it's really much, much better for the vocal line when you keep these sounds vertical. A really famous singer told me that one time years and years ago. And, the funny thing is, I'd gone to see this guy. He was a great tenor and baritone, actually. He sang in this country as a tenor. My mother sang with him years and years ago at the Music Academy of the West. She wasn't a professional singer. She was good enough to be one, but didn't end up happening. But his name was William Alvis. He's on the original Candide, Leonard Bernstein's Candide, plays the governor, pops off B-flats like they're nothing. And then he sang in Europe under the name Franco Dalvisi as a baritone. So I saw him in concert over here as a baritone one time and went up and talked to him afterwards because my mother had known him. And it was fun. Very, very theatrical guy, I must say that. And right there in the middle of wherever I met him, he said, "Here's the most important thing," and he sang all the vowels for me. Gorgeous. He made no bones about it. I don't know if he sang the Italian or the English, but it was just perfect. And he just kind of basically went, "Here's the most important thing." And he sang these vowels in perfect alignment, right? And he said, "You keep that throughout your range, that's it. You're golden." And, I thought, well, gosh, with all the things I was struggling with back then vocally, I thought, well, that's kind of oversimplifying it. I can't really do that right now. And it is slightly oversimplifying it, but, it's really true as well. It really becomes so much about the vowels, so much about the sounds. And if we can keep them in line and keep them vertical through our bridges and up through the extension of our range, then we really are golden. I mean, there really isn't much else to do. It really is when we fall out of the alignment. And from a register standpoint or from a sound or vowel standpoint. So if we can keep those two concepts and we can stay in line with our registers and we can stay in line with our vowels and our sounds, we're really going to be ahead of the group there. And keeping in line with our vowels and our sounds is one of the main things that will help keep our registers aligned. It's not the other. It's not the other way around. We don't align our registers and have our vowels magically, or our sounds and vowels magically fall into place. The other is true. We get our vowels and sounds aligned, the way I'm showing you in this, and sometimes magically our registers fall into alignment. Our bridges line up better. Everything is going to be in better balance because when we're singing really broad and horizontal vowels, they tend to pick up too much weight in the voice and they knock out the bridges. And so all of a sudden we go from vowels and sounds that are not aligned to bridges and registers that are not aligned. So what we really have control over here is the sounds that we make. And the sounds that we make can be absolute magic to the voice. So many of the things that go on vocally are involuntary. So many of the muscles you can't see, you can't really control. We may know what they're called. We may have exercises to kind of encourage their activity. But the main thing is, you do have control over the sounds you make. And if you really look in a mirror and take that power back, take that control, and don't look away from the mirror right at the note in question or the sound in question, but stare at yourself and absolutely make yourself behave. See, like the old Mike Myers thing, right? In Austin Powers, oh, behave. You've got to. You've got to behave with these vowels and these sounds. You can't be going broad. You can't be using all kinds of facial muscles to try and help you get the pitch and help you get the vowel or help you get the sound. You really have to focus on this. Now, if you already got this mastered, then you don't have to focus on it at all, But if you don't have this mastered, let this be what I call on-purpose work, stuff that you work out on purpose, because this kind of thing does not usually happen accidentally. If you're used to singing broad vowels and your bridges are kind of all over the place, it's not going to just all of a sudden magically get better, most likely. You got to do something. And this is one thing that you absolutely have control over today. If you have challenges in the bridges, if anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, if you pull too hard through the bridges, if you knock out your bridges, if they're not beautifully balanced, then I can almost guarantee you, if you do this work I'm talking to you about today, things will improve. And I'm going to give you an exercise. I see we're at 20 minutes here, so I'm going to wrap this thing up. But I'm going to give you an exercise. And let me get my little pitch pipe app here. I'm going to pause this recording. Continue 1 second. Well, I actually don't have my phone with me right now. Apparently it's in the house. And rather than going to get it, I'll just pick a note out of the sky here. And what I want you to do, though, is, you can use a pitch pipe. You can just sing a cappella with no note at all. You don't have to give yourself a note. Or you can use a keyboard and give yourself a note. And first of all, I would start low in the chest voice, just so you get used to this. And do the exercises, the combinations that I explained. E, A, U, O, E, A. Okay? And do an octave. Da, 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 da. Okay? So, it's a 1, 3, 5, 8. Ba, 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 ba. And the way you're going to do it is you're going to go up on the narrow one, and you're going to sneak in to the broader one, but you're going to keep it where the narrow one sits, okay? So if you do ooh, you're going to do this. So I went right? Now if you do the EA, ooh, okay. Now, you are going to be, when you switch these sounds, you're going to be at the second sound much sooner than you think you are. You're going to want to do this. You're going to want to go broad. Trust me. Record yourself. You're going to be at the sound that you're going for much sooner than you think. So stop before you think you're even there. Because your ear is going to tell you, no, I'm not there yet. That's not the right sound. E-A. You're going to want to go all the E-A instead of E-A. Your ear is going to tell you you're not there yet. Okay? But trust me, you're there. So then, do it a little higher. Put yourself in a bridge. For you men, put yourself like E3 to E4. For you women, put yourself just like A flat 3 to A flat 4. So you're not really high and you're not right in the middle of the bridge, okay? And then for the guys, put yourself on F sharp 3 to F sharp 4. For the women, put yourself on B flat 3 to B flat 4. And see what you can do with those same exercises. It's really important when you're in the bridge, okay? But you want to start getting used to this, just like I showed you earlier, where you just hold the mirror and look in the mirror and just, you don't even sing. And just get very, very used to how you don't need much, if any, movement in your mouth, okay? Except with the ooh. And when you go from the ooh to the o, keep the ooh lips on the o. When you go from the to the if the pulls your lips in a little bit, like a pucker, kind of like the ooh, keep those for the just for now. You won't always have to do that, okay? Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Please do this. It really, really will work. I absolutely promise you, okay? And if you would like a free Singing Accelerator video series, happens to be mine, then I will put the link in the show notes. You can run over to mikegoodrich.com/free videos if you would like my free ebook, The 5 Biggest Mistakes Singers Make When Singing in Their Mix or Belting and How You Can Avoid Them. Run on over to mikegoodrich.com/5 Biggest Mistakes, and I will put this link in the show notes as well. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. And I will see you. I feel like I'm forgetting to say something, but can always edit it in, I guess. Anyway, I'll see you next time, okay? Have a great one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Inner Singer Podcast. And please share this with all of your singing friends. And head on over to iTunes and subscribe. And if you found it of value, give us a nice rating. Thanks so much.